calling all members of the in crowd. If you want to get in on the action, we want to hear from you. Hit us up, faderoutemail@gmail.com, or slide in our DMs on IG at FadeRoutePodcast, or drop us a line on X at FadeRouteDNZ. You can find us on Facebook, The Fade Route with DNZ. We're on Spreaker. We're on YouTube, The Fade Route with DNZ. Catch our videos. Like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, and spread the word. Coming at you from the Hey Yo Studios, it's the Fade Route with DNZ. Here are your hosts, D and Z.
Coming at you live from the Ayo Studio.
Ayo.
It's the Fade Route with D and Z. I am D. We've got a great show for you tonight.
Yes, you do.
Dallas is up 3-1 in the Western Conference Finals. Odell Beckham lands a team, and the Celtics punch their ticket to the finals. But how do they measure up against Celtics teams of the past? We'll begin today's show on a bit of a somber note. The death of Bill Walton at the age of 71. Lots of people consider Bill Walton one of the best college basketball players of all time. He won 2 titles. He won 2 NBA titles. He also won 2 NCAA titles. What will you remember about Bill Walton?
Well, obviously, our condolences go to the Walton family, his son Luke, and everybody that has been touched by the ray of sunshine that was Bill Walton. He always seemed to bring energy and vibration and life wherever he went, and he was a joy. He really was a joy. In a world of negativity, he seemed to embrace the positive of life. But that was just on the broadcasting side, right? Where we are not old enough to have seen him play in his heyday. You did just turn your milestone birthday, and happy belated to you. But we weren't alive for his prime, right? So we can only go back and look at video. We can only look back at statistics. We can only kind of look back through a very narrow lens. But collegiately, he's one of the top collegiate players of all time, right? 2-time national champion, 2-time AP Player of the Year, 3-time NCAA All-Tourney. He was the stuff of legend, right? Kind of like Kareem when he was in college as Lou Alcindor. You had 2 of the primary bigs of that time, of all time, and they were contemporaries. What is also something that needs to be noted, that even though Bill Walton did have a solid NBA career and he did win championships, he was felled by the same thing that fells most big men. His feet. His damn feet betrayed him. Alright? Like Yao Ming, like multiple other big men. He just could not stay healthy on his feet, and it's a product of how big he was. That's just the nature of the beast when you're that big of a person. 6'11", 210 pounds when he was playing his collegiate days. 6'11", 210. At that size, there's a chance he'd get bodied in the league today, because you have a lot of guys who run bigger, right? Not necessarily taller, but bigger. But for his time, he was athletic, he could shoot, he was a total package. He was the absolute total package. He is going to be remembered as one of the greats of all time in college. What could have been in the pros, solid, but what could have been. We can think about so many guys who fall into that category, right? What could have been if he only stayed healthy? What could have been if he only played longer? Bill Walton is right up there. But we know him also for what he presented as a broadcaster and as a human being. And that Bill Walton was a good man. Bill Walton was a good man who spread love, light, and sunshine to anybody who was willing to accept it. And for that, I think that's going to be his biggest legacy. More about what was off the court than what was on.
Yeah, I mean, like you, I remember him being an announcer and a broadcaster, and he would say things sometimes that would make you scratch your head, throw it down. Man. You know, and he was fun, brought some color. He was different. You know, as far as a player is concerned, you know, I know he gave John Wooden some headaches. He's an outspoken guy. But, I mean, when Larry Bird, you know, says that you were his hero, I mean, that's crazy. That's what Larry Bird said. Bill Walton was his hero. That's crazy.
That's high praise.
That's some high praise right there. And just amazing, like, getting drafted to the Blazers and, you know, battling through injuries, but finally getting to play a season and winning the MVP and then winning the championship there. It's just some pretty impressive stuff. And like you said, his body failed him, which, you know, stinks. But, you know, we were cheated out of what could have been. But, you know, it just shows you how special he was, because even though he didn't get to play as long as he probably would have liked to, he still impacted the game. He still impacted a lot of players in the league, and so many people have come out and told stories about how, you know, reporters have told stories how, you know, he gave them more time than he had to. You have players coming out saying how much of a great teammate he was, and it's sad too, right? Because it also makes you think about your own mortality. I know him and my mother were born the same year, and to think that, time stops for nobody. So I'm glad we got to enjoy him while he was alive and how much he gave to the game.
Absolutely. And I think you said it best. Like, he lived life as if it was short, because life is short. And on this, you know, this astral plane that we live on, right? And this timeline that we live on, we're a very short line on that timeline. So we're a very short stay here. So it's important to know that, and it's important to understand that. And, you know, Bill Walton definitely embraced that. You know, he had the whole, you know, deadhead thing going on, and, you know, that was part of his, you know, hippy dippy vibe. But there's a depth to him. There's a depth to him more than just, you know, oh, I like the Grateful Dead, I wear tie-dye. No, there's more. And I think, like, that's important. You know, like, yes, Bill Walton was a headache, but Bill Walton also was as a principled man. You know, it's not so much that he was just a headache for the sake of being a headache. You know, that's not the mentality at all. But when you look at him, and it wasn't just his t-shirts, colorful. I would say, if you're going to use one word to describe Bill Walton, colorful would definitely be the way to go. You know, he was definitely a guy that, you know, marched to the beat of his own drum. Another phrase that you can use for, you know, free-spirited kind of guys like that, and, you know, deeper thinkers. So he will definitely be missed. Another legend gone too soon. And, you know, it definitely makes you think about your own mortality. But I don't know. I don't think that Bill Walton would have any regrets on how he lived his life, because, again, he lived life on his terms. He did what he needed to do on his terms, And ultimately, he was what he was. He was ultimately successful. He was a very successful man in multiple facets of his life. Speaking of success, one of Bill Walton's old teams, the Boston Celtics, they were successful. They punched their ticket to the NBA Finals by beating the Pacers in 4 games. We call that a sweep. We call that a sweep, ladies and gentlemen. So it didn't particularly seem that difficult either. Tyrese Halliburton going up on the day is talking about how the healthier team wins. I'm glad he just figured that out after the Reggie Miller wearing the Reggie Miller choke sweatshirt. So good for you, Tyrese. You're maturing, right?
Guys are gonna get clapped anyway.
Yeah, fuck. We're gonna lose anyway, so I might as well go out in a blaze of fucking glory here. And they did it without Porzingis, so that's another thing.
That's impressive.
That is impressive. So it makes you wonder: do they really need him at all? I'm just throwing that out there. He's the parsley on the plate. But how does this Boston team, right? How do they compare to the Big Three Boston team that beat the Lakers for the title more than 10 years ago? And if you want, how do they compare with, Paul Pierce, Antoine Walker? Take it back as far as you want to take it. Where do these Celtics measure up?
It's crazy because the Celtics have like 17, 18 championships, right? They have so many.
Yeah, they are the standard of the. They're one of the standards of the NBA.
Yeah. I feel like the Big Three team was just more imposing. They were pretty deep. I mean, you had Glenn Davis, Sam Cassell, Eddie House, Kendrick Perkins. And then your stars were James Posey, you got Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett. There are 3 Hall of Famers on that team. Leon Poe had some really good minutes. People like Rajon Rondo. I'm not a Rondo guy, but he
played his role.
He played his role and had a decent career. This team does it a little differently. They like to shoot. They shoot a lot of threes. And I feel like they have without Porzingis, they're really just a 2-man punch, right? It's Tatum and it's Tatum and it's Brown sprinkled in with a little Al Horford. But then you get Drew Holiday, who has really been the difference, right? I mean, if we're going to really talk about why Boston is still here, and it's because of Drew Holiday. So, let's go pound for pound. I mean, Drew Holiday, Rajon Rondo, I'm taking Drew Holiday. Right? And then Paul Pierce, Jaylen Brown, I'm taking Paul Pierce. Ray Allen, Jason Tatum. Jeez, I'd probably take Ray Allen, right?
Yeah.
Then you have Porzingis, Kevin Garnett. I'm taking Garnett.
Come on.
Kendrick Perkins, and who's playing center for them?
Al Horford right now.
Al Horford. I take Al Horford.
He's a power forward though. He's traditionally a power forward.
Yeah. So wait, if you're gonna, I would take. Well, let's say this. I would take Ray Allen over Jaylen Brown, and then I would take Paul Pierce over Jason Tatum. So yeah, I'm going with the 2007, 2008 Celtics, right?
Yeah.
And then if you go even further back, if you go to the Larry Bird days, I'm probably taking those Larry Bird teams with Parrish and McHale and those teams. So was it Vinnie Johnson?
Johnson, yeah.
I think it's incredible what they've done. I've said they should have blew this team up many a time, right? And I still think they should. When you think about it, who did they really beat? Who did they beat this year in the playoffs? So you're like, oh man, yeah, watch out for them Celtics. They pretty much swept the Pacers. They swept the Pacers.
Yep.
And then who did they sweep before that? Or didn't sweep? They got stuck, right?
Yeah, but it's not this team. It's not one of those things where it's such a dominant team that it's not a juggernaut type team, right? We've seen it multiple times, and
so they beat the Heat without Jimmy Butler,
right?
They beat the garbage Cavs,
yep,
And again, the Cavs lost one of their best players, right?
Donovan Mitchell.
They lost Donovan Mitchell. So in each round, the team was playing without their best player. And yeah, they won 4-1 or swept.
Yeah.
But they were all games. Like the Pacers were in most of the games, and they didn't have Porzingis. I mean, I don't know.
And then the last game, of course, Halliburton is out with general soreness. So, like, they played a depleted Pacers team as well. So,
Right.
You could argue that they've had a very soft road to the finals.
Yeah.
So, because this same team, with the exception of Kristaps Porzingis and Drew Holiday, they lost to the Heat last year, right? So,
Yeah.
You're right. It is constructed differently. This is a team of Ray Allen's, right? Ray Allen was a supplementary player on that team, right? It was Kevin Garnett. It was Paul Pierce. Ray Allen was there to hit the threes. The Celtics...
They ultimately won because of Ray Allen. Like, they needed Ray. Like, Ray had 26, I believe, in Game 6 against the Lakers. Him and Paul Pierce both had 26 points. And that was what... Ray got going. That's finally what helped them beat the Lakers in that series.
But they need a fully balanced attack. Like, who is Al Horford is the guy who's going to be bullying down low, right? Like, that's your Kevin Garnett, right? But who's the Paul Pierce? Is it Tatum? Is it Brown?
I'd argue that Paul Pierce's role is being played by Tatum, which is kind of scary, right? Because sometimes he disappears.
Yes.
Like, he really just vanishes. But I think...
You mean like he did when Jaylen Brown got his Eastern Conference MVP?
Yeah.
Where the hell was Jason Tatum there? Good job, man. Hell of a teammate. But, I'm with you. The key is Drew Holiday. Like, he provides lockdown defense, too, in addition to distribution.
Smart plays.
Extremely.
He's a smart player, too. I mean, I actually like watching him on the offensive side and just watching the cuts he makes and where he goes and how he's able to find open space. Sometimes right under the basket, he's wide open.
Right.
And
it looks really bad. I mean, you think about it. Milwaukee traded him to the Celtics. They got rid of him to bring in Lillard. Now, that looks pretty fucking bad now, doesn't it? Like, I think Milwaukee would probably want that one back, if anything. But,
I mean, I don't know how you get rid of one of your best defensive players. I'm like, why didn't we make the finals? What the fuck's going on here? I don't understand.
Well,
Boston's like, we'll trade for Drew Holiday every day of the week.
We'll take him.
What do you want? We'll give you whatever you want. What do you want? I mean, I think that I don't really know if Dallas can challenge them. Because I would assume that Drew Holiday is going to play on Kyrie Irving, which will be amazing, right?
I don't know.
No, you don't know.
I mean, I think you put Drew Holiday on Luka. I think you lock down Luka, and then make Kyrie go to somebody else.
Jalen's a good defender. I mean, and so is Tatum. No.
Yeah, I mean, they're all right. They're pretty good, but
I think Minnesota poses a much bigger problem
with that size.
Celtics.
That size, yeah.
I mean, you have 38-year-old Al Horford going at Gobert and Cat.
I mean, he's going to be in foul trouble most of this series here. Like, I think that's fair to say. But, I mean, it is funny. We didn't even mention Kyrie as a Celtic. So, like, where does
be some interesting storylines there, right?
Yeah.
Because it's him and Hayward are no longer there, but everybody else was there. Well, from the starting team, right?
Yeah.
Horford was there.
Horford was there, yeah. He was, the Celtics ultimately, they blew it up. They selectively blew it up. They
just blow it all up.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder if they lose to this Mavericks team, how do you fix this? Like, we'll definitely see, but I mean,
they'll run it back. They're gonna run it back if they lose, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
But
they're confident in this group. They think they've nailed it.
I
And
don't
again,
know.
when you look at who they've played and who are you worried about next season? Like, who out of the East are you worried about if they don't win this year?
All right, so
Hey, listen, I'm with you. I said they should have blew up the team a long time ago.
so you're
You might have Jalen Brown on the Celtics if you. Not Jalen Brunson on the Celtics if you'd have blew this up a couple years ago.
right. Well, it's one of those things that ifs and buts, right? They were a year too late than a year too early. You're concerned about a healthy Heat. You're concerned about a healthy Bucks. You're concerned with a healthy Knicks. You're concerned with a healthy Sixers.
I think the Bucks need to figure out their coaching situation because that could lead to a lot of issues. And the 76ers, I think they still need one more guy. If anybody they should be afraid of, maybe it could be the Knicks, unless the Knicks botch this offseason.
Well, that's the thing. If the Knicks go star hunting again, that's definitely going to be a problem because, of course, now the rumor mill is swirling, right? Do they go get LeBron? Do they get Paul George? No.
I think they're going to go after Paul George.
They're going to go after Paul George, yeah. And you can offer Mitchell Robinson, Julius
Looks like
Randle.
already.
Oh God, yeah. So you're gonna strip away any toughness and heart that you have, any down low rebounding. Hartenstein is good. He's also a free agent, but you're gonna send out Mitchell Robinson. Yes, he gets hurt all the time, but when he's in there, he's the kind of guy. He's the guy that you want down there physically. He's like Al Horford. You want a physical presence down there. But as far as how this Celtics team matches up, if they were to play Celtics teams of years past, I think they lose to the Big Three team in 5. I'll give them 2 games. I'll give them a game. And it depends. And as far as Larry Bird, Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale, what rules are we playing under? If we're playing 80s rules, oh my God, it's a sweep. Soft as can be. No, like Larry Bird talking all that shit. I would love to be a fly on the wall for that with Larry Bird. One of the all-time greatest shit talkers, Larry Bird. Look at him. He shouldn't be talking shit to anybody. Just look at him.
All right,
and
who's coming in second? That's great.
Goddamn, Larry Bird was he's a character, absolute character. But even if you play under current NBA rules with the threes, with the amount of volume threes, could you imagine Larry Bird just posted out behind the arc all day, just draining buckets? I would love to see that. I think that. Yeah, no, I don't think it's close. I think the classic Celtics teams wipe the floor with this roster. But that's the embarrassment of riches that is the Celtics lore. Right? Think about that. I think, what year do they have Shaq? Yeah, so let's think about that.
What year did the Celtics have Shaq?
Yeah, what year did the Celtics have Shaq? Yes, he was on the decline, but he's still fucking Shaq.
Yeah, what was that team? That wasn't on the Paul Pierce teams, was it? I guess it was.
I think he was. I think he was a backup. But that's what the Celtics do. They go and get guys that they go.
Oh wow, he was on the 2010, 2011 Celtics.
Yeah.
Wow, that's nuts.
That's a deep cut right there. The big clover, whatever you want to call him, the big leprechaun. So yeah, as far as stacking up, there is no comparison. Now, if they win a championship with this team, okay, you're in the conversation. Now you're in the conversation. But even so, I don't think that you measure up. You're not talented enough. Tatum and Brown are very good. Porzingis is Porzingis. My opinion has not changed on him, and it's borne out. Where is he? Where is old Chris? On the bench, nursing an injury.
Let's see if he comes back. Let's see if he comes back with the finals and makes an impact. But in the Western Conference, this really hasn't been much of a series either, as Dallas is ahead 3-1. So, Z, why are the Wolves having so much trouble with the Mavs, and can they be the first team to come back from being down 3-0 in an NBA series.
Well, it's funny that you say that it hasn't been much, but they've been very narrow scores, right? Usually like 1-2 points.
Yeah, but it's not a series, man. It's fucking, it's not a fucking series. I get that the games have been close, but you're not winning. It doesn't mean anything. So I think one game was a blowout, but other than that, everything's been pretty close.
Well, I think you have to take into account the Mavericks' commitment to team defense, right? It's not something that Luka and Kyrie are generally known for, but apparently, if you listen to an interview that Kyrie did, he said that around the All-Star break, we collectively committed to playing team defense if we wanted to go to the next level. And they've taken their game to the next level, right? Last year was an experiment. They realized it didn't work the way it was going. So you have these role players come in and show up your superstars by being those grit, glue, defensive guys that are going all out for the team, and you stand out when you're not doing those things. So
you're putting the praise on Dallas, saying they're playing defense, and that's the difference here?
I think it's important to note that they're playing defense. Absolutely. Now, the Timberwolves are, they are a stout team. They have plenty of talent. Can they come back in this series? Sure, why not? Anything can happen. They just knocked off the defending champions.
I love how you have hope for the hopeless. That's awesome.
Well, it's part of being a fan, right? You have to have hope until it's over, and it's not over yet. Until they shake hands at the end of the series, nothing is over. If that was the case, right? If that was the case, then the 2004 Red Sox, like we talked about last week, would have packed it in. So it's not a fait accompli that things happen. Injuries happen. Things happen. Like Luka can come up lame. Like Kyrie, Kyrie can pull a hammy. Like think back to those Rockets teams. Those teams with Harden and Chris Paul, and they seem to be on the precipice of something great, and then Chris Paul pulls his hamstring, and they're done like dinner. So
done like dinner. I like that.
So
I like that.
Series can change in a moment, right? So it's not over until it's over, like Yogi Berra once said, and that's the job of the Mavericks. The T-Wolves took one. The Mavericks need to make sure they don't take another one. Like, this is it. You have to put your foot on the T-Wolves' throat, and you have to choke them out. Like, you have to make sure that they do not get back up in Game 5.
Right.
Because if it's 3-2, momentum is starting to build. And then if it, God forbid, it gets to Game 7, all bets are off. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm really actually putting this. I really think I'm not giving Dallas any credit, because Dallas is doing what Dallas does, and they have a 2-man backcourt there that averages like 66 points a game together. And for the most part, these have been low scoring, like they're low hundreds, which is what we're used to in normal basketball. But I'm really going to put these losses and where this series is on Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, it's pretty gross. In game, let's see here. In game 1, right? Yep. He only had 16 points. Then in game 2, he had 15 points. Oof. And then in game 3, he had 14 points. That's just not going to get it done, man. That's not going to get it done. And then his shooting was awful. Awful. He shot 22%. He shot 22% from 3 in the games 1 and games 2. He didn't hit any threes in game 3. You're not going to win games like this, man. So I'm putting these losses on Karl Anthony Towns. where in this was game 3? No, this is game 2. He's 4 for 16 and 1 for 5 from 3. In game 4, he's 5 for 18, 0 for 8 from 3. And then he finally woke up yesterday, and he had 25 points. Shot 9 for 13 from the field and 4 for 5 from 3. And guess what? They won. So that's what it's coming down to. It's coming down to their best player. Because I mean, Anthony Edwards, man, yeah, he's very good and he's on the way, right? But when you think about the Timberwolves the last 5 years, you think about Karl Anthony Towns. It's been his team. He's been the guy, and he's got to show up. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna be because of him. Well, and I don't think it's possible. This is not, in baseball, it was the 2004 Red Sox, and that team is historic. All the players on that team will be remembered. It's Boston. There's a legacy, a baseball legacy there. Like, there's history between the Red Sox and the Yankees. So, yeah, they came back from 3 down and won 4-3. Boom, makes sense. The team that plays in Minnesota, the basketball team from Minnesota is going to come back from 3-0 on the Dallas Mavericks. I don't think so, man. I don't think so. Unless there's an injury, fat chance.
Well, what do you need to do? You need to exploit the Mavericks down low. Like, that is your bread and butter. Your bigs need to be big. Rudy Gobert is playing big. Karl Anthony Towns needs to play big. Like, you're going up against P.J. Washington and Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively. You should be eating their lunch.
Who?
Exactly. Well, he's out with a neck sprain, possibly for game 5.
Rudy Gobert crushing it in game 3 with 9 points.
Yeah. So
what are you talking about?
You're
Where
big.
The fuck are you, dude?
Yeah. Well, Anthony Edwards, he had a couple no-shows. So
he was tough shooting down the stretch. But he always finishes with a lot of points, because he
volume.
He gets it in the garbage time. He volumes it up.
Yeah. So your big stars, your alleged stars, need to come up big. This is their time. This is what they should be doing. If they are who they say they are, if they are who we think they are, this is the time for them to prove it. Right? Because you're getting shut down by, again, Daniel Gafford, P.J. Washington, and Derek Lively.
Trash.
Right? That defensively, they're doing the job. They're doing the job on you. Right? This team, they're a scoring team. Right? They do play solid defense, but they're an offensive team. Right? Anthony Edwards, one of the best. One of the best up-and-comers.
He's on the rise. He's on the rise.
He's on the rise.
And he'll learn from this, I think. I think he'll learn from this, and he'll be back, and he'll be better than ever next year.
I agree. And I also agree that Tyrese Halliburton's going to be the same way. Don't write checks with your mouth if your ass can't catch. Right? Don't write those checks that your ass can't cash. At least not yet.
Shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
That's it. That's it. Say what you will about Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is a veteran in this league. Kyrie Irving's got a championship. Kyrie Irving has been there and done that.
Yeah, for sure. He has.
And you talk all that shit about how, I'm going to match up with Kyrie Irving. How's that working out for you?
Come on, man. Just go play the game, man. You don't need to get him all riled up. You need to get him started. And they're going to do what they do. This is what they do. They rack up points. They score. Like, Luka could shoot. Kyrie can go to the basket. They know how to get people involved. They know how to play time defense, like you were saying. They got together and made an agreement. Okay, we're going to start playing some defense. Like, this is the stuff that, you can't drop games in the series like this. You have to play well every day. Every day. And just, we talked about this many times. This is a marathon, man. The NBA season, the NBA postseason, they're marathons. And right now, Minnesota just, even when they played the Nuggets, they gave up they beat the Nuggets the first 2 games, But then they lose 3 straight, and then Minnesota came back and won. You can't rely on that all the time.
No. And you know what? If you do somehow manage to get through this, now you get the Celtics waiting for you. It's which we were presuming that that it's going to be the Mavericks and Celtics, but that's a pretty.
It's going to be the Mavericks and Celtics. Not presuming anything. That's what it's going to be. There's no way this team is coming back. Not the way they play, unless there's an injury. Even if there's injury, if it's Luka that goes down, I think Kyrie could win one more game, and then the NBA will be really upset. I'd be really upset.
Yeah.
But like we said, if the Timberwolves were to lose this year in this fashion, 4-1, or even 4-2, we do believe that Anthony Edwards will be back and better than ever next year.
Agreed.
I wish I could say the same for the next story.
Avoid messy accidents. Get better stopping power with your brake pads. Callahan brake pads. You never know when you'll be driving in the road and there will be a truck tire that you need to avoid and save your family. Callahan Auto. We really care about what's under your hood.
Speaking of the next story, and we're hoping he'll be back next year, in particular, we're going down to Atlanta. The Braves were dealt some major news on Monday. Ronald Acuña tore his ACL in a non-contact play while running the bases. Problem is, it's his other ACL. So now he's got 2 bad ones. So the Phillies are currently 5.5 games ahead of the Braves in the NL East, but the Braves do have a wild card spot. So, how many games will the Phillies finish ahead of the Braves? And how do they replace Ronald Acuña Jr.?
They don't. Call Jock Peterson. Call Jock Peterson. They're probably gonna do some combination of like Adam Duvall and some other player.
They just signed Ramon Laureano.
Oh, great! Terrific.
You have JP Martinez, not JD Martinez. You have JP Martinez. Different Martinez.
Got you, Martinez. JT, not JT.
JP? No. Yosha!
Listen, it's the Phillies are good. The Phillies are really good. I've been saying it for 2 years now. Those boys bang the baseball. They got 2 guys. Now they got 3 guys on the top of their rotation throwing gems. Suarez guy is unhittable. 8-1, 8-0 with a sub 2 ERA, or I think it's 2.08, something stupid like that. Man, it's like it's tough because you're gonna have to get through the Phillies. You're gonna have to get through the Dodgers. We don't have our best hitter. We don't have our best pitcher. Like
Ranger Suarez is 9-1 with a 1.75 ERA.
Stupid. And to be honest with you, Wheeler's the better pitcher. Wheeler is having the better year. He's the better pitcher. But that's besides the point. Like, it's unfortunate, but it's over. It's over. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm not a homer. I can look at this roster and say it is flawed without their best pitcher, without their best hitter. You're not going to be able to go and Chavez Ravine and beat the Dodgers with that lineup. You're not. Matt Olson's good. He ain't Freddie Freeman though. He ain't Freddie Freeman good. Even Freddie Freeman good couldn't be the leader of that, So you got Riles. Riles is gonna play well. Fucking Albies is having a down year. We pitch okay. But this is like the kind of Braves team that gets beaten the fucking first round by like the Brewers or the fucking Cubs. Like that's what we're looking at. That's what's gonna happen. Some garbage like that. But pull a Billy Beane. We're gonna replace him in the aggregate. They won the World Series without him. Maybe this is maybe they'll win it without him again. But I find it hard.
Go get Eddie Rosario again.
You're gonna have to pick some team's pocket. Somebody's gonna have to play out of their mind. I mean, he was just he's a good player. Like he's a really good player in all assets of the game. Like he hits home runs, he steals bases, he covers a lot of ground in right field. it's hard to make that up. It was easier to make that up, 4 years ago when they won? I don't know if it's going to be easier to make that up now.
Well, just off the top of my head, I got a few ideas.
What do you got?
You're not taking into account the fact that Alex Anthopoulos knows what the hell he's doing.
He does.
Yeah,
he does.
So, and it wouldn't surprise me if one of these teams is still kind of hanging around, but if they do get out of it, I would call up George Springer. I would see what he's got. You put Ozuna, Springer, Harris, and then Duvall and Kelnick. That's not bad. Charlie Blackmon. Charlie Blackmon's pretty damn good. You know, like it's a shame that he languishes in mediocrity in Colorado. People don't know how good Charlie Blackmon actually is.
He's been on my fantasy team a couple times.
So you know how good Charlie Blackmon is.
I do. He's good. He's good. Yeah, he's good.
So you pick the Marlins pocket. Find somebody on the Marlins.
Marlins had 16 hits today. Marlins were not fucking around today.
You pick the freaking
9-1 to they beat a team 9-1, and you want to get rid of them. You want them out.
Yeah, I do, because they stink. They do.
They beat the Padres 9-1. Do the Padres stink?
The Padres are mediocre at best.
Maybe the Braves could call the Yankees about Juan Soto. Maybe that's what they could do.
Okay, give me injured Acuna, give me Spencer Strider, and we'll go from there.
Everything.
Give me everything. Give me everything.
Everything tonight.
That's it. I want everything that's not nailed down. I want everything that's not nailed down. Call the White Sox. Like, I'm sure that, there are plenty of veteran bats on the White Sox.
Get Anderson.
Maybe Eloy Jimenez if he's available.
Oh, he's trash. I don't want that guy.
If you're going to replace in the aggregate, you're going to have to piecemeal Ronald Acuña Jr. together. So a guy like Benintendi or a guy like Eloy Jimenez, those are the guys that you're going to be looking at.
The problem this year is that the competition is extremely better. That's the problem this year. The Phillies are really good, man. The Phillies are really good. And like I said, the Dodgers are really good. Like, the Giants are nothing to sneeze at. I mean, I know Schnell is having a tough go right now.
It's almost like spring training matters.
Almost. And the Cubs have a really good pitcher on their team. They could scare somebody in the first round. Like, it's just that the competition out there this year is tougher.
You're also not taking into account that the new playoff format favors the hot team, not the better team. The best team doesn't always win. When was the last time the best team actually won? Like last year, right? But it was the Rangers. Like, the Rangers were wire to wire. The National League representative in the World Series, the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Woohoo!
Let's not forget that. Woo! Let's not forget that.
Let's not forget how terrible that series was.
It took a COVID shortened year for the Dodgers to win a World Series. So let's not put all the eggs in the Dodgers basket just yet, because they've proven Ugats is what they've proven.
They have. It's just very tough to pitch that lineup, and that's the problem. It's really a problem. I don't know if you've watched any of the games they played. It is a fucking problem to pitch that lineup. They're playing the
fucking Mets. Are you kidding me? They're playing the Mets. The Cardinals Spellman Pilots. The Cardinals Spellman Pilots right now could beat the Mets.
St. John's won the Big East. Maybe they could beat the Mets. But I heard Steve Cohen got shot down. He's trying to put a casino near Citi Field. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't. But you know what? It wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. Mm-hmm. It's just, we're just, it's becoming a clown show. It's becoming more of a clown show. But, it's one of those things that the Dodgers haven't proven jack shit yet. The Padres haven't proven jack shit yet.
I forgot about them too.
Yeah, the Giants are good. The Giants are good. That's the thing. That's what you need to recognize. The Mets are still in the wild card race. That's all you need to know about the National League wild card. It's weak. Yeah, it's weak, man. It's weak, man. Diaz is on the IL. Senga's still on the IL. Pete's probably going to go on the IL, and they're still going to be in it. They're still going to be friggin' in it. That's all you need to know
he's definitely going to the IL. He got hit in the hand. By a pitch today.
Yeah.
So palm of the hand.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like that's baseball, Susan, especially in the National League. The Braves are not out of it yet. And oh ye of little faith in your GM. So you get hot, anything can happen. How many times do we need to see it, especially in this new playoff format? The ones don't make it. The best teams don't make it. Look at the Orioles last year. They got picked off because they had a week off.
Should have got live chicken.
Do you love brownies? Of course you love brownies. But you know what's better than a brownie? A delicious, handcrafted, gourmet brownie delivered right to your doorstep. That's what our guys at Sweet Life Brownie Co. offer. Chef Tommy D and the crew offer a dozen delicious delights that you will crave, from the classic OB to Dutch apple to campfire s'mores and many more. Check out their website, sweetlifebrownieco.com, for their Friday brownie drops. At noon, their site goes live and you see what they're making. Since you're there, become a site member and earn points. You earn 50 points just by signing up. Make sure you follow them on Instagram and Facebook too, at sweetlifebrownie_co, for the latest updates and their latest releases and creations. That's sweetlifebrownieco.com. Give them a call, 845-641-3043, and tell them D&Z sent you. That's sweetlifebrownieco.com, 845-641-3043. Sweet Life Brownie Co., because there's always room for a brownie.
Well, we talked about the circus that is the Mets, and it seems like the Miami Dolphins have increased their circus. Odell Beckham Jr., he got a new team 2 weeks ago, and we didn't even speak about it. The Dolphins decided to sign him, and they probably picked to sign him over adding a Dalvin Cook to their team. So what will the addition of Odell Beckham Jr. do for the Dolphins?
Nothing. Nothing. Nothing.
Well, what do we think? We think
Jalen Waddle is the guy on that team.
Over under 500 yards for Odell this year. Over 46 catches this year.
Push.
Okay. Over 4 touchdowns.
3. I'm going under.
Okay. I mean, I don't think Jalen Waddle's the guy, right? There's the cheetah. The cheetah's the guy.
But I'm saying, as far as that position goes, they have a guy they have Jalen Waddle already. You don't need it's redundant.
Well, Z, if we're going to talk the X's and O's of it, right, is what you've done is you've pretty much now are going to force a team to play you in nickel the whole game, right? Because you're not going to put a linebacker on Odell Beckham Jr. assuming he plays, right?
Big assumption.
Right?
It's a big assumption.
He plays, you're not going to put your nickel, you're not going to put your linebacker, your will linebacker, on Odell Beckham Jr.
No, you're not.
Otherwise, you're really taking a chance out there, because he is shit. But if you let him run verts, he could run verts. He can run a corner route. He could do those things. He can't do much more than that and be effective, but he can get a separation from your will linebacker. I'm pretty confident he can do that. So now what are you going to do? You're going to put your nickel on him. Okay, you're going to put your third best corner on him. Okay. Now, you could run the ball more with Mostert, and Mike Daniels is a run guy. Believe it or not, he was the run game coordinator before he was anything else. He knows how to run the football, and he's got backs that can do it. So while I don't like Odell, and I don't think he's any good, and I probably would take the same over-under that you suggested, I do think he changes their offense, because now you're going to dictate the personnel the teams that you're playing are in. And that's huge. I think that's huge. It's huge against a team like the Jets, who like to blitz a lot. It's huge against a team like Buffalo that has to come down and play you once a year. It's big against a team like Kansas City that lost their best corner. So yeah, I do think things changed for the better.
I disagree. I think he's a non-factor at best, and he's a pariah at worst. I think he's one of those guys who has an opinion of himself and what he should be getting, right? And the targets he should be getting. That doesn't fly down there. You have Tyreek Hill, like you mentioned. You have Jalen Waddle. You have an established offense. You're there to be the parsley on the plate, right? You are effectively now Keyshawn in Tampa Bay. Right? That's what you are now. You're Keyshawn with the Cowboys. You're
I
not.
was about to say Keyshawn and Tampa Bay won a championship, so yeah, you might want to switch that up.
Yeah. Well, Odell with the Rams blew out his knee, but still got a ring.
Oh, but if you talk to him, he was on his way to winning the MVP of that Super Bowl. If you talk to him, you think he was the reason why they won that Super Bowl.
And that's another thing that we need to talk about here. He's got rebuilt legs. How's that going to hold up? How's that going to hold up? I don't know. Like, you're getting older, man.
He's getting older. I mean, Miami runs a quick passing scheme, right?
But you have to be able to cut quickly, and you're going to be able to cut quickly on those legs?
Well, it depends on what role he's playing, right? And I would think that he's going to be the go guy. That's the way I would do it if I was them. That's the way I would do it. Tyreek is my ex. He's going to do everything. Waddle's going to do everything that Tyreek does, but he's going to do it on the back end as secondary. And then Odell is there to take the safeties away. Odell is to draw attention. Like, not a decoy, but you're going to respect his speed. You're going to respect his playmaking ability, even though I don't think he's much of a playmaker. But, come on. You're telling me that you wouldn't want Odell Beckham to be your third best option on your team?
No.
Really?
I can do so much better. I can do so much better than Odell Beckham Jr. on two bad legs. Absolutely, I can. I can draft somebody who's cheaper, younger, and better. Right? That's how this works. And at the end of the day, with the rumors swirling about Tua and his contract extension, $50 million a year, that's the way you got to go. You got to go younger, cheaper, better.
Just to change topics really quickly, what should Dallas do with Dak? Extend him? Ugh.
No more. No. Come on. Like, this is getting into.
You're gonna let Dak play on a 1-year deal?
This is getting into Kirk Cousins territory.
You're gonna let Dak play on a 1-year deal?
What has he done? What has he done?
I'm saying,
no.
You could say you.
I'm
you
saying
say you want to,
but I'm saying what has he done?
I'm gonna pay him on a 1-year deal.
If I'm Jerry Jones, what the hell have you done for me? Like, that's it. Like, at some point you have to cut bait. This team.
I'm not playing on a 1-year deal. I'm not playing on a 1-year deal.
Okay, we'll franchise you. Like,
that's how. Now that's over.
That's how the shit works. Like that. This is how the NFL works.
You can't franchise me now. You have to pay me. If you don't pay me, I'm not going to play.
Okay.
Who are you going to get to play quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys? He's being nice right now. He's playing very nice.
Oh, he's playing nice. Isn't that wonderful? We've won nothing with you. We can win nothing without you.
You won nothing with him, and you're probably going to win nothing without him, but Zeke Elliott's your running back.
And whose fault is this? This is Jerry Jones' fault.
CeeDee Lamb is in his prime right now. You're gonna mess with my money now?
We messed with your money. Your money's been messed with for years. The Cowboys have been a mess for years.
I don't know, man.
Dak Prescott has been a mediocre quarterback at best, and they chose to treat him like he's Jesus Christ. Right? That's what they tried to do. And it did not work because he is a mediocre quarterback. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, there you go. Goodbye. You're all these mediocre Kirk Cousins, mediocre quarterback. Getting paid a shit ton of money, but is a mediocre quarterback.
I know we're a couple weeks out from doing the rankings, but man, I was looking at the Green Bay offense. Fucking scary, man.
No, the Green Bay offense with another year of seasoning, Jordan Love, they're gonna be good. They're absolutely gonna be good.
They're gonna be good. All those receivers are all young. And then they went and got Josh Jacobs from fucking Raiders.
So I can argue that the NFC East is a one-team division. And it's the Eagles. Let's be fucking real here. It's the Eagles and it's everybody else. Come on.
Eagles.
It's the Eagles
over
and
under 1,000 yards for Saquon this year.
Under.
Over under 6 touchdowns for Saquon.
Over.
Oh, 8?
8, yeah. Over under 12 games. Over under 12 games for Saquon. Under. Over under tush squeeze. Over under 25 tush squeezes on Jalen Hurts by Saquon Barkley. Way over. John Kuhn used to be the touchdown vulture. Jalen Hurts is now a touchdown vulture. He's like,
this is true.
Just lift and separate. First down.
I forget, he got signed to a 1-year deal or 2-year deal?
I think it's a 2.
It's a 2, right?
Yeah. But, it's a one-team division. Don't give the Dak Prescott shit. It's over. It's over, Johnny. Come on now. I could argue, it's a flawed argument, but I can argue that the Commanders have jumped everybody in their second-place team. I could make that argument.
Why would Marcus Mariota wear the number 0?
Because it's reflecting of his career.
Are you just really trying? You're ready for all that criticism? A quarterback wearing the number 0? Yikes! Dude. What are you thinking, man? You're just trying to get crushed in every town you roll into, man.
Obviously, Taylor's thinking.
I don't know what he's thinking.
To tie it back to the Dolphins, though, did you hear this rumor about Ryan Tannehill possibly going back to be Tua's backup?
That's smart.
That's very interesting.
Why do the Jets call Ryan Tannehill? What the fuck, man?
That's fair.
Why wouldn't they call? Why is Ryan Tannehill not the backup and Tyrod Taylor is the backup?
It's a good question.
I'm hurt every single week is the backup.
That's a fair question, but it makes you wonder if Tua, if
Bengals should call him too. Bengals should call Tannehill.
Yeah, no, I would say he's a better fit for Cincy than he is for Miami. He's more
Dallas
like Joe Burrow than Tua.
Dallas should call Tannehill.
That would be fair. I would say Tannehill would be a fine
hold out, bitch. You want to hold out, motherfucker?
Right.
Okay.
Here, I got Ryan Tannehill. He's a starter in this league. He'll take your job.
Ooh, Seattle. Oh no, they just got the kid from Washington, so they're okay.
Yeah, so they have guys, and they still
Denver. They don't have any quarterback there.
So
Vegas.
Oh, wait,
places he could go play.
Dallas has Trey Lance, man. Dallas still has Trey Lance.
I forgot about that.
So maybe this is the year he finally blossoms. But maybe this is it. He's finally going to spread his wings and fly. But I do. The interesting idea about the Tannehill signing is if Tua does regress, because last year he did play very well, right? How does Tannehill, if he has to play, he doesn't fit that offense? I don't think he has the quick release. I don't think he can do that. He can throw. He's got a fucking arm. He's got a cannon. But
not like that though.
No. So that's up to Mike McDaniel. That's why you coach. That's why you get paid the big bucks. That's why you have the big chair. Before you go hanging 70 on the Broncos again, make sure you have some alternate plans just to be on the safe side. Because Tua ran into some remarkable luck last year because he took jiu-jitsu and learned how to fall. So let's see. Miami still hasn't proven anything in this league either. Well, let's be real here. What have they won lately? They won a division. No, they didn't. The Buffalo Bills did. Sorry.
You can't help but smile when you see a balloon. The simplest occasion is a party. Westchester Pop Stars, located in New Rochelle, New York, offers balloon styling and decor for all life's events. Birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, showers, school and corporate events, store openings, or just because. Westchester Pop Stars takes balloons and shapes them into works of art, creating decorative installations for your special occasions. No event is too big or too small, and their custom personalization service is top-notch. Westchester Pop Stars is a private studio, quickly expanding. In-person consultation is by appointment only. Send an email to westchesterpopstars@gmail.com for more information or to schedule an appointment. No need to hire an event stylist. All you need is balloons. Currently servicing Westchester, Putnam, New York City, and Connecticut. To find Westchester Pop Stars, search for them on Instagram, Facebook, or Google.
Fair or foul? Judging the more messed up stories of the week.
All right, boys and girls, we have some statements here, and they're either fair or foul. Fair or foul. Number 1. Angel Hernandez retiring from being an umpire in Major League Baseball.
Hallelujah. 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 It's fair. It's amazing he lasted this long. In a world where we can actually see balls and strikes on TV, this man has managed to get it wrong more than any other man that I could ever remember. So baseball will be better off without him and Rob Manfred in a couple of years.
Well, we can get to that in a second, but I am going absolutely fair. Angel Hernandez is an embarrassment to the sport in terms of his performance. We can see the strike zone. If you got a plane to catch, just tell us you got a plane to catch. You got dinner reservations, just tell us you have dinner reservations. But it's egregious how far off the plate he gives to pitchers. It's absolutely ridiculous. And he is one of the most thin-skinned dudes out there. So you challenge him a little bit, boop, you're gone. How dare you tell me how much I suck? Goodbye. Boom, you're gone. So, Angel Hernandez via con Dios. And when Joe West is another notoriously thin-skinned dump. He was better than you, but I will see that. I'll concede that Joe West was better than you. But Joe West was also notoriously thin-skinned. For him to come to your defense, it's kind of a problem because Joe West is kind of a prick. Great country singer, but kind of a prick. So, good riddance. You're here. We're here for the memes. At this point, we're here for the Angel Hernandez memes, like the one with where he signed the retirement papers, and the line is at the bottom, and he signed in the top right corner.
I didn't see that one.
That was a pretty good one. That's great. So that's where Angel Hernandez is now. Major League Baseball also has that weight lifted off their shoulders regarding the Angel Hernandez lawsuit. Remember how he sued the league because they said they were holding him down because he's Hispanic? No, they were holding you down because you're a shitty umpire. You have one job. Call correct balls and strikes. You, sir, were fucking terrible. Vaya con Dios. And keep an eye out, guys. Maybe this week's order up is going to be the worst Major League Baseball umps available. We'll see. We shall see. Oh, fair or foul number 2. Jacob Trouba not being fined or suspended for his elbow in Game 3 against the Florida Panthers.
I'm going to go fair. I saw this in live time. I really didn't think much of it. I've seen Marchand and other players do far worse. I think it was unnecessary, but I don't think it was an offense enough for him to be fined or suspended. It's one of those things where next time he's coming around the back of the goalie, then he gets one, you know?
It's completely fair. When you look at the replay, Evan Rodriguez ducks his shoulder to get underneath and to get body position on Trouba. Trouba has him lined up, so if he did connect with him, he would have knocked him the fuck out. So in a way, Rodriguez's attempt to get around Trouba actually did him a favor. Because what happens is, because he ducks low, Trouba had him lined up for an elbow to jaw. Instead, it hits him in the shoulder, glances down, and hits him across the nameplate on the back. Was it egregious? Yes. Was it on the razor's edge? Yes, absolutely. Ultimately, the result did not warrant a suspension because Evan Rodriguez ducked. Right? The hit could have been much worse. A $5,000 fine is the max you can do. Hopefully Trouba gave him 10. This is for next time. So he plays on the edge. He wants to run through you like the Panthers do. Right? The Panthers finish their checks. Trouba finishes his checks. The Panthers also like to take dives. Like we've noticed a lot. Like, Sidney Crosby is jealous of how many dives they're taking. They're like, bro, that's a lot. That's a lot. Evan Rodriguez was out 2 shifts later. You would have thought he needed a neck brace after Trouba hit him in the shoulder, right? You know, you got Kachuk. You know, I have enormous respect for Matthew Tkachuk. See him flopping all over the ice like Vlade Divac. Like, that's not cool. That's not cool. Now,
Not cool, bro.
not cool at all. You're better than that. You don't need to flop to draw penalties. The Rangers can do that all on their own. They're trying to keep up with you physically. And, you know, the refs are calling it tight. The refs are calling it tight selectively. Like the more egregious stuff they're letting go, but the ticky-tack stuff is what is being called. That's kind of dumb, right? As far as like the little clutch on Lindgren, there's been a couple of little hooks in the hands, but then you got guys getting leveled. Nothing. Sam Bennett punched Ryan Lindgren in the face at the end of the third period last game. Nothing. No call. And, you know, Ranger fans are up in arms about like the Capo Caco trip. That wasn't a trip. He stepped on the dude's stick blade. So watch the video. Watch it. Actually watch the game. Some of these things are bullshit on both sides. Some of them are getting missed, and they should be called. So the officiating has not been great. But Jacob Trouba, that was a legal hit. Aggressive, yes, but completely legal. But he should just give him $20,000. Like, that's for this one and the next 3. So, have at it. Here you go, Gary. A little something extra. Fair or foul number 3. ESPN adding Chris Paul to NBA Countdown.
Why? Why? What fucking insight does this guy have to give anyone? He's never gotten to the championship. I don't even know if he's been to the conference finals. He's a team killer. He can't stay healthy. I don't want to listen to Chris Paul. What does Chris Paul know? He's up there with Bob Myers. Bob Myers knows more than he does.
He has trouble articulating it, though.
He does, but he knows how to build a team. He knows how to win. He's working on trying to bring a championship to Washington right now. Mike Wilbon knows more than him. I'll take Stephen A. Smith over him. Actually, he keeps saying, like Stephen A. Smith said, or like Michael Wilbon said, because he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. It's foul. Complete and utter foul. Ugh.
They could do better. But the problem is NBA Countdown shit too. The whole show is bad. Like, they were filleting the Knicks in Game 7, with the exception of Wilbon. Wilbon was the only one who did not, debase himself, lower himself to that level of nonsense. Stephen A. Smith is all about the nonsense, so it's okay. Like, he's a clown. Knicks fans don't claim Stephen A. Smith. Just in case you guys didn't realize, don't get it twisted. Knicks fans don't claim Stephen A. Smith. Just like Yankee fans don't claim Stephen A. Smith. The dude is a clown. So Stephen A. Smith does not speak for New Yorkers. I would like you to hear me now. Stephen A. Smith does not speak for New Yorkers. Stephen A. Smith speaks for Stephen A. Smith. Thank you. Bob Myers, as much of a basketball genius as he is in terms of building a team, it's hard. He's a hard listen. He is a very hard listen. Greeny is sometimes insufferable. I mean, why not? At this point.
Oh.
It can't get... I mean, it's bad. It's a bad show. It's a bad show.
It's a bad show.
Is he making it worse? I don't know. I can't tell because it's already a bad show. It's already fucking bad. So it's like, around the horn. If you use somebody else's point, they get the point, not you. Right? You get the mute, they get the point. But, Chris Paul will find himself. He'll find his way. But ultimately, it's a guest spot. It's not he's still active in the league. It's just a guest spot for now. I don't think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be a long guest spot. But, he can't do worse because the show's already really bad. Sorry. And I like Mike Wilbon. Like, Mike Wilbon's the exception. So, Like, I just can't get. I just can't do it. I can't get into it, and I can't get into, I just can't get into Ernie Johnson and Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith. I can't get into it, especially now they're talking about their contracts and whether or not they're going to be on the air. And like, no, I just can't do it. So give me the X's and O's, give me the nuts and bolts, call it a day. I don't want to hear human interest stories. If you're going to be insightful, please be insightful. Like Chris Paul has played a significant number of years in the NBA. I know, much to your dismay. Much to your dismay, I know. But he has. There's got to be some level of insight in there. And it's not just like sour grapes. Like, oh, what we need, and I don't hope for injury. I don't take this as me hoping for injury. But for somebody to pull their hamstring and be like, yes, I can talk about this. I have something that I have a unique perspective that I can.
Someone gets hurt.
Yeah, or somebody gets punched in the nuts.
Someone makes zero contributions to a closeout game.
It's like, I know about this. I can speak.
I know how to be terrible in prime time. I know what it's like to, just waste a whole season for my team. I know how it's like to not come through in the playoffs and not hit clutch baskets and not be on the court. I know what that's like.
My time to shine.
I know exactly what that's like.
My time to shine.
Your favorite podcast has its own merch line now. Go to the Fade Store with DNZ.com today for all your Fade Route merch needs. I'm talking tank tops, t-shirts, sweatshirts, like yoga pants, we got those too. Like some cool accessories, we got those too. And we're not done yet. We have so much more planned for you, but check out what we have today at the Fade Store with DNZ.com. That's the Fade Store with DNZ.com. The Fade Store presents the Alleged Superstar of the Week Award.
All right, boys and girls, you know what time it is. It's time for the Alleged Superstar of the Week. You know how it goes. We put up a poll on our X account at FadeRouteDNZ and our Instagram poll at FadeRoute Podcast, and you vote. And you vote, and you vote, and you vote. And the winner of said poll gets a shout out on this here show and takes home the coveted Ash Trophy. And do you know who took home the coveted Ash Trophy last week, D?
I don't.
Scotty Scheffler. Well, that was before the charges got dropped. So, good job, Scotty.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so they did drop the charge.
Must have hired Jackie Child.
The glove don't fit, you're full of shit. Well, the body camera wasn't working, or it was turned off. So
this is inexcusable, laughable, unfavorable,
unimaginable. But that was last week. This is this week. Who are your nominees for Alleged Superstar of the Week, D?
Deborah, call Dr. Bison. Tell her it's for me.
Who told you to put the bomb on?
I tell you put the bomb on.
Do you know what a bomb can do? Have you ever seen what a bomb can do?
He cost this man millions of dollars. He didn't win the golf tournament, all because of this mix-up. Geez, my Alleged Superstar of the Week. Okay, first up, I've got a recurring one. I've got Bronny James.
Ooh.
After a few workouts, you have decided to stay in the NBA draft. Who lying to you, boy? You were not the best player on your college team. You wouldn't be the best player on your college team even if you went back. You need to do what's best for you and don't play toward a gimmick. Bronny James, you are my Alleged Superstar of the Week. Number 2, Rob Manfred. Just trying to destroy baseball on his way out. Combining the Negro League's records with Major League Baseball records. Like, what are you doing? This is apples and oranges. The Negro League stats are incomplete. Isn't this why we have modern day records separated from pre-20th century records? You're rewriting the record books again, which is what steroids did and what people hated. I'm not against the Negro Leagues. I'm not against what Jackie Robinson and Satchel Paige and what all those guys did. It was remarkable. It was great. It was wonderful. But it's over there. It's over there. It doesn't need to be over here. It doesn't need to be over here. Rob Manfred, you are my alleged superstar of the week. And number 3, Craig Counsell. Pulling Ben Brown in the 7th inning in the middle of a no-hitter should be outlawed. What are you doing? Let him finish the game. He's young. If he wanted to skip his next start, let him skip his next start. You don't take away history from us. Craig Counsell, you are my alleged superstar of the week. What do you got, Zeke?
All great choices. I'm just going to weigh in a little bit on the Negro Leagues records being added to Major League Baseball records. It is important for historical purposes. The Negro League is treated like a major league because it was a major league. It was a major league for African Americans who could not play in the major leagues due to segregation. That is important. That needs to be noted. However, it's also important to note
Thunder?
It is thunder. It is coming. It is coming. It's a reckoning coming, and this is a reckoning, right? This is diversity, inclusion, integration. Like, this is a reckoning that sports are starting to, they're starting to bring them across. But like you said, it's a separate entity, so it becomes an issue. Josh Gibson is the all-time batting average leader. Turkey Stearns is now on the list. You now have, a more complete picture of the Negro Leagues. I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with the recognition of it, right? Because it is a major league. But it's something that the story needs to be fully told, right? Kind of like, I agree with you, like the steroids, it's an incomplete picture. It's something that needs to be told within the context of the game. The game is a tapestry. The game is a story. The history of the game. The word story is in history, is it not? So it's something that you can't just plop it in. You kind of have to weave.
Yeah, the problem is like the Negro League stats are incomplete. They're based on seasons that are often about 60 games long.
Right.
You had a catcher batting .466 across 69 games.
Right.
Is that okay? That doesn't work.
I mean,
that's what I'm trying to say.
It's not comparable, but also in the same time, we have the dead ball era. We have the issue.
Wow.
We have the mound. Right? You have,
But you're not learning from your mistakes.
No, you're not. And baseball doesn't. The baseball will never learn from its mistakes. That's part of what makes the game the game. How does it?
Could you really say that every player in the Negro League would have played in Major League Baseball? I don't know. Could every player in Major League Baseball play in the Negro League? I don't know.
I can't say that with any definitive certainty.
Right.
I can't.
So I don't know. I don't know what kind of competition Josh Gibson was against every day. I don't know. It just seems like it's unnecessary. Like, that's all. It just doesn't seem like it's necessary.
I understand what you're saying. I definitely understand what you're saying, but I think it's important that Major League Baseball tells the story right.
Tell the story.
Tell the story right.
Sure.
Don't just plop it in. Oh, Josh Gibson's now the all-time leader. So just it feels like out of nowhere. It feels like it was out of left field. And I can get behind that. I can definitely get behind why you would say that. But I'm going to start my alleged superstars with Tyrese Halliburton. Closeout game. I don't care how sore you are, dude. You got to be on the court. If you're the best player on your team, you got to be out there. At least OG Anunoby at least went out there and tried to be out there for his team. Ultimately, he couldn't do it. And OG Anunoby wasn't even the best player on his team. You tried to give him a little goose, a little something. You gave them nothing. Ugats is what you gave them. And then in your post-game presser talking about the healthiest team wins. After showing up in that Reggie Miller choke tee. Or that choke sweatshirt. You know what that is, Tyrese? That's fucking karma. Are you familiar with karma? Because that's what you got. Tyrese Halliburton, you are my alleged superstar of the week. Number 2, Jason Tatum. Good series. Good job. Jaylen Brown was voted MVP of the championship series. Where were you? Where were you? Come on now. Be a good teammate. Be there for your teammate as they're accepting an accolade. Right? That would be nice. It looks bad. The optics of it is pretty darn bad. Jason Tatum, you are my alleged superstar of the week. And then number 3, you mentioned it before, Dak Prescott. He's threatening to hold out? Really? You want more money for mediocre returns? Really? You're really going to play this game, Mr. Prescott? Are you kidding me? You have done nothing in this league. Please tell me what championship the Dallas Cowboys have won since 1995. Oh, that's right, you can't. Tell me what Super Bowl you have led the Dallas Cowboys to. Oh, that's right, you can't. Tell me what MVP you have... Oh, no, you can't do that either. What are you known for? Sleep number beds. And yeah, here we go. And when will Dak get paid? Those are the 3 that you are known for. Go to camp and play football, please. You'll get your money. Again. Not that you deserve a raise, because you're still at that same level that you were when you got paid the first time. My problem is the NFL rewards mediocrity. Again, look at Kirk Cousins. He just got signed. That's a lovely, lovely deal you got there. More rewarding of mediocrity. But go to camp, Dak. Just go to camp. Dak Prescott, you are my alleged superstar of the week. I think we've said our piece. Go to our X account at FadeRouteDNZ. Go to our Instagram poll at FadeRoutePodcast and vote. And vote, and vote, and vote. And for our nominees.
Just do better, boys. Just do better.
This has been the Fade Route with DNZ. Thanks for tuning in. Catch our podcast on Wednesday nights on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. So until next time, stay faded, everyone.
Time for us to run the go route. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for listening to this episode of our podcast. If you like what you heard and want to hear more, be sure to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Rate us 5 stars, leave us a review, turn on subscription notifications, and tell your friends. Spread the word, spread it wide.